Stop, Jonathan!
In April of last year, Jonathan Robinson murdered Renita Nunu Williams. He did it in front of a Facebook Live audience. The community and Caddo District Attorney James Stewart immediately demanded the death penalty.
Today, a Caddo judge sentenced Robinson to life in prison plus 100 years. Our Josh Rogers visits with Caddo DA James Stewart tonight. Stewart explaining why he decided to let Robinson plead guilty to avoid the death penalty, and Josh joining us now to explain.
Jeff Stewart says the decision ultimately came down to Nunu's family, who decided they didn't have to have the death penalty. They just needed closure.
I didn't know it was going to happen. I just never shared it with nobody because I knew what I wanted in my heart and what I believe in. I didn't believe in killing nobody.
Hey y'all, this is Nunu. Yes, I was wrong. I didn't have any business going off like that. A 27-year-old mother sits in front of her phone camera, forced to apologize. Her ex-boyfriend stands over her with a loaded gun. Hundreds of people are watching live on Facebook. She's begging with her eyes, hoping someone, anyone, will call for help in time. But in less than 3 minutes, Renita Williams will be dead. And the whole world is about to witness exactly how it happens. This is her story. April 2018. Shreveport, Louisiana. Renita Williams had finally broken free. 2 years earlier, she ended things with Jonathan Robinson, a man who had hurt her, controlled her, and refused to let her go. She had a new boyfriend now, a fresh start. Her family was relieved. She was happy again. But Robinson never stopped watching. If you've ever felt followed after leaving someone, or worried that an ex won't leave you alone, this case will hit close to home. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from, because what happened to Renita in Shreveport could happen in your city too. On that April day, Robinson kicked down her door. He had 2 guns and a plan. He forced her to go live on Facebook, knowing she loved sharing her life online. What he did next was captured in real time. And there was no going back. Renita Williams, everyone called her Nunu, was 27 years old and full of life. She lived in Shreveport, Louisiana, and if you knew her, you knew she loved being a mom. Her children were everything to her. She worked hard to provide for them, to give them a good life, to be there for them every single day. Nunu was also active on social media. She posted about her day, shared moments with friends, talked about what was going on in her life. It was her way of staying connected. She had a bright personality that came through in every video, every post. People who followed her could see she was genuine, real, just a young woman trying to live her best life. But for years, that life had been anything but peaceful. Renita had been in a relationship with Jonathan Robinson, and it was toxic from the start. They were on again, off again for a long time. 1 week they'd be together. The next week they'd break up. Then they'd get back together again. It was a cycle that never seemed to end. And during that time, Robinson showed his true colors. He was violent. He was controlling. Renita's family and friends saw it. They knew he wasn't good for her. They knew he hurt her, physically and emotionally. When things were bad, they were really bad. And Renita deserved so much better. Finally, 2 years before her death, she did what so many people struggle to do. She left him for good. And for a while, things got better. Renita moved on. She started dating someone new, a man who treated her with respect. Her family was relieved. Her friends were happy for her. She seemed lighter, happier, like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She was building the life she always wanted, focused on her kids, focused on herself. She'd finally found peace, or so she thought, because Jonathan Robinson wasn't done with her. Even though they'd been broken up for 2 years, he couldn't let her go. He started showing up places where she was, uninvited, unwanted. He'd confront her in public, making scenes, trying to get her attention. trying to control her even though they weren't together anymore. He was stalking her. Renita's family knew about it. They were worried. They'd seen his behavior before, and they knew how dangerous he could be. But what could they do? He wasn't breaking into her house. He wasn't making direct threats, at least not ones that could get him arrested. He was just always there, watching, following, waiting. And then things got worse. At some point, Robinson started dating someone new. But even with a new girlfriend, he was still obsessed with Renita. He couldn't stand that she'd moved on, that she was happy without him, that she didn't need him anymore. One day, his new girlfriend accused Renita of still wanting to be with Robinson. It wasn't true, but the accusation got under Renita's skin. So she did what a lot of people do when they're frustrated. She made a video. In the video, Renita called Robinson out. She told people he'd been following her. She addressed the accusations from his girlfriend. She made it clear she wanted nothing to do with him. She just wanted to be left alone. It was a normal reaction, a way to vent, a way to set the record straight. But for Robinson, that video was the final straw. He woke up one morning in April 2018 with a plan. And that plan involved making sure Renita Williams never ignored him again. After Renita left him, Jonathan Robinson should have moved on. He should have accepted it was over. But he didn't. Instead, he became obsessed. For 2 full years, he watched her. He tracked her movements. He showed up at places he knew she'd be. Sometimes he'd just stand there, staring. Other times, he'd approach her, trying to start conversations she didn't want to have. He'd get loud, aggressive, make a scene in front of other people. Renita tried to ignore him. She tried to live her life. But no matter what she did, Robinson was always lurking somewhere in the background. Her family was terrified. They'd seen what he was capable of when they were together. Now that she'd moved on with someone else, they worried he might snap. But Robinson was careful. He never did anything that would get him arrested. He just made sure Renita knew he was still there. Still watching. Then came the video. Robinson had started dating someone new. You'd think that would mean he'd finally leave Renita alone. But it didn't. His new girlfriend somehow got it in her head that Renita still wanted Robinson back, that she was jealous, that she couldn't let go. None of it was true. Renita was happy. She had a new boyfriend. She had her kids. She had no interest in going back to the man who had hurt her for so long. But the accusations kept coming. And eventually, Renita had enough. So she made a video and posted it online. In the video, she called Robinson out. She told everyone he'd been following her around, stalking her. She addressed his girlfriend's accusations head-on and made it clear. She wanted nothing to do with him. She just wanted to be left alone. It was a moment of frustration, a way to defend herself, a way to tell her side of the story. But that video would sign her death warrant. Robinson saw it. And he was furious. How dare she call him out publicly? How dare she embarrass him like that? In his twisted mind, Renita had disrespected him. She'd made him look bad in front of everyone. And he wasn't going to let that slide. He started planning, thinking, obsessing even more than before. And one morning in April 2018, he woke up knowing exactly what he was going to do. Have you ever called out an ex publicly? Maybe on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? What happened afterward? Did things get worse? Let me know in the comments, because for Renita, speaking up cost her everything. Robinson grabbed 2 guns that day, an AK-47 and a shotgun. He drove to her house on Natalie Street. And what he did next would be seen by hundreds of people in real time. April 2018. A normal morning in Shreveport, Louisiana. Jonathan Robinson woke up that day with murder on his mind. He'd been thinking about it, planning it. And now he was ready to act. He grabbed 2 guns an AK-47 and a shotgun. He got in his car and drove to Ranita's home on Natalie Street, the same home where she was trying to build a peaceful life, the same home where her children lived. When he got there, he didn't knock. He kicked the door in. Ranita was inside, alone. And suddenly, her worst fear was standing right in front of her. The man she'd escaped 2 years ago. The man who'd been stalking her. The man who refused to let her go. And now, he had 2 guns pointed at her. Robinson didn't come to talk. He came to make a statement. And he knew exactly how he wanted to do it. He forced Ranita to pull out her phone. He told her to open Facebook. And then, he made her go live. Ranita loved social media. She posted all the time. Her followers knew her. They recognized her voice, her face, her energy. So when she went live that day, people started watching right away. But this time, something was very, very wrong. The video started. Ranita sat in front of the camera, shaking, terrified. You could see it in her eyes. You could hear it in her voice. Robinson stood over her, holding the gun, and he started yelling. "Beach wanna be famous," he said it loud, angry, mocking her. "Everybody wanna be famous. Let's be famous today." Ranita didn't move. She didn't know what to do. She was trapped, and hundreds of people were watching. Robinson told her to apologize. He didn't say exactly what for, but everyone watching knew. It was about the video she'd made, the one where she called him out for stalking her, the one where she told the truth. Now, he wanted her to take it back, on camera, in front of everyone. Through tears, Ranita spoke. "Hey y'all, this is Nunu. Yes, I was wrong. I didn't have any business going off like that." She was apologizing for her own life, hoping that if she said the right words, he'd let her go, hoping someone watching would realize what was happening and call for help. But Robinson wasn't done. He kept taunting her. "Want to be famous? I'll make you fucking famous." Ranita begged him, pleaded with him. You could hear her voice breaking. She didn't want to die. She had kids. She had a life. She'd done nothing wrong except try to protect herself. But Robinson didn't care. He raised the shotgun, and he fired. 6 shots. At least 4 of them hit her. Ranita Williams collapsed, bleeding, dying, right there on camera. And Robinson stood over her body and said the words that would haunt everyone who watched. "Now, this game over, bitte." The video was still live. People were still watching, and they were horrified. Comments flooded in. People were screaming in all caps. "Call 911! Someone help her! Where is she?" Some viewers recognized the house. They knew where Ranita lived. They immediately called the police. Within minutes, officers were on their way. When police arrived at the house on Natalie Street, Robinson was still inside. He knew they were coming. And he didn't care. In fact, during the video, he'd said it out loud. "I don't give a fuck about police, you hear?" He meant it. As officers approached, Robinson opened fire. Bullets flew. One officer was hit, grazed on the wrist. The others took cover and returned fire. For the next 80 minutes, it was a standoff. Robinson inside. Police outside. Ranita's body still on the floor. Eventually, after exchanging more gunfire, Robinson was taken into custody. He didn't resist at the end. He'd done what he came to do. Ranita Williams was dead, and he'd made sure the whole world saw it. Ranita's cousin, Trina Williams, spoke to reporters after the murder. She was heartbroken, angry, confused. She said, "I mean, basically, I guess he wanted to torture her. That's the only thing I could see. She didn't deserve it. Why would you even come here?" It was a question no one could answer. Why did he do it? Why couldn't he just let her go? Why did he have to take her life in the most public, humiliating, violent way possible? Renita had escaped him. She'd built a new life. She was happy. She was free. And Jonathan Robinson couldn't stand it. So he made sure that if he couldn't have her, no one could. 3 minutes. That's all it took. 3 minutes for a man to destroy a woman's life on camera while hundreds of people watched, helpless to stop it. Renita Williams was 27 years old, a mother, a daughter, a friend. And she died, begging for mercy that never came. After his arrest, Jonathan Robinson was charged with multiple crimes. Second-degree murder for killing Renita, attempted first-degree murder for shooting at police officers, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and simple criminal damage to property for kicking in her door. The evidence was overwhelming. The entire murder had been streamed live on Facebook. There were hundreds of witnesses. There was no question about what happened or who did it. Robinson was facing the death penalty. But in January 2019, 9 months after Renita's death, something unexpected happened. Prosecutors dropped their push for the death penalty. Instead, they offered Robinson a plea deal, and it was a deal that Renita's family agreed to. Robinson pleaded guilty to all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder. On top of that, he received an additional 100 years for shooting at police officers. In other words, Jonathan Robinson will die in prison. There's no way out. But what happened next in that courtroom is something no one expected. After the sentencing was read, Robinson asked to speak. Specifically, he asked to speak to Renita's mother, Anita Williams. The courtroom went silent. Robinson, shackled and surrounded by more than a dozen bailiffs, looked at Anita, and he started to cry. "I'm so sorry I did what I did," he said, his voice shaking. "I know I hurt a lot of people myself. I hope one day you forgive me for what I did." Anita Williams had already received letters from Robinson while he was in jail. Letters where he apologized. Letters where he tried to explain himself. And now, face to face, he was asking for her forgiveness again. And Anita gave it to him. Through her own tears, she said, "I forgive you already." Robinson apologized again. And again, she responded, "I accept your apology." Before he was led out of the courtroom, Robinson added, "I'm sorry for the polices, too." Later, Anita spoke to reporters. She said, "I forgive him, but I never will forget." She explained that she didn't believe in killing anyone, not even the man who murdered her daughter. She was glad justice had been served. And now, she said, her family could finally move forward. It was grace in the face of unimaginable pain. Forgiveness that didn't erase the crime, but allowed a mother to find peace. Jonathan Robinson got justice. Anita Williams chose mercy. And Renita's memory would live on. Renita's story is heartbreaking, but it's also a warning, because the signs were there. And if we know what to look for, we can help protect ourselves and the people we care about. Renita Williams was more than a headline, more than a viral video, more than a true crime case. She was a mother. Her children lost her that day. They'll grow up without her voice, her laugh, her love. They'll have to live with the knowledge that their mom was taken from them in the most violent, public way possible. She was a daughter. Anita Williams had to bury her child. No parent should ever have to do that. She was a friend, a cousin, a person who deserved to live a long, happy life. But Jonathan Robinson took all of that away. This didn't have to happen. We can't bring Renita back. But we can honor her memory by paying attention, by believing people when they say they're scared, by taking stalking seriously, by not ignoring the warning signs just because someone hasn't been hurt yet. Don't let someone you love become another name on a list. Don't wait until it's too late. If you found this story important, please subscribe. I cover cases like this because they matter. because they can save lives. And I don't want you to miss a single one. And tell me in the comments, what can we do better as a society to protect people like Renita? How do we stop this from happening again? Thank you for watching. And remember, if you see something, say something. I'll see you in the next one.